to get into game 2 draft right now idea. Teams switching side. Crit's potentially gonna have a counter pick for that mid lane, so critical. But on the other side of the coin, you also get Coach not in as dominant of a lane, and I feel like Gungeon did a really solid job harping on that point. Darkside not really taking advantage of their huge strength in the top lane. Coach was a monster on this Gnar pick, and it felt like the team fights never really set up for him at all. The Ivern, funny enough, going to be the champion taken off of the board. I wonder if we might see Zongi's Olaf make a reappearance, or if that's even going to be taken off the board.
Yep, absolutely here, and sent a band away. So right away, they say they don't want
None
to
of
play
that
against
again.
it. They don't
None
want to
of
play
that.
against it, and so if you're not going to pick it, well, you're going to ban it away here. So I don't know if that is maybe something that has occurred maybe in scrims if these teams have played each other, if this is something that has been maybe a contested pick, but. We will have to wait and see here. Udyr, though, going to get banned away. Now, yes, there were some jungle nerfs, and I do believe we
hmm
are on patch 11.4.
Yep.
So I believe
Yep.
some of that experience has been tanked a bit. So,
hmm
champions like the Udyr, Olaf, not as strong as they used to be,
Yeah.
but still very formidable champions, and mostly due to the items and the
hmm
strength of them. And Kazakh's actually going to be the pickup here for the jungle. So Hiram going to be taking and piloting a nice little assassin here. Should be interesting enough. And Kaisa going to be picked up as well. The Skarner pick. Hey, guess what? That's on my
Here we
bingo card.
go.
That's on my bingo card. Let's go.
One step closer. How many more do you need, idea? I think I had
I'm
a
not
I
going
had
to
a
say what
starter
I
pick
need.
too.
I'm not going
I
to
just
say what
need
I
a
need.
Graves pick and a base race. That's what I'm looking out for.
I'm not going to say what I need because I am not a cheater, but I need one more for a bingo. And for those of you that can find me on Twitter, Idea PC Casts. Yep,
It's a
you can
mystery.
find me
There's a
there.
treasure map. It's a whole thing. His
Yep, it's
his
there. It's
Twitter
there.
account is
But
worth the journey.
okay, I've actually got two ways to win now, and I don't mean to talk about bingo because we do have a draft here going on, but Mordecai's
Yes,
are
we
actually going to
do.
get locked up here for
This is
coach.
It's a huge one for Coach Idea. He has been a monster
Yep.
on Mordekaiser. We'll see some potential counter picks and some of Tricky Brain's comfort in the top lane is going to be targeted a little here. And funny enough, Crits still with the counter pick opportunity. So they get Coach on a huge comfort pick that he's just been so solid on throughout this season. They get him all set up for success, and Crits is still waiting, ready to go. I'm surprised that the Misfortune Leona actually really does fit into the identity of, I think, what Divine Ascension Ruby have been trying to do over these previous 2 weeks idea, because they want to be able to play aggressively in the bot lane, and the Misfortune damage going to be pretty good at handling that, as well as being incredibly relevant during team fights. And not only that, they get JDK on this Leona pick. How good was he at calling shots to start those
Yep.
fights in the first match between these two guys? So putting him on another engaging playmaker is absolutely great. We see Braum now picked up for Darkside, and Divine Ascension Ruby. They're going to be rounding out their picks. Hopefully something safe for Lester Fiend.
Yeah, I actually love the Braum pick here. I mean, you get an amazing amount of synergy with that MF ult there, just to be able to block a lot of that damage that'll come out from
Yep.
that champion. And ladies and gentlemen, I've got bingo. Bingo, baby! I'm not kidding. I think I might be the first one to have it, so that's kind of exciting. Galileo pickle is what I needed. So, yep, I'm gonna tweet it
He
out
didn't want to
actually
jinx
here in a
it.
moment. I didn't
It
want to
turned
jinx
out.
it. I really, really didn't want to jinx it, but I actually just got it. So, that's kind of cool.
Come on,
Yep,
Graves
it's
mid.
rigged. It's rigged. Anyway, but no, I love the Braum pick here just because you do get a lot of synergy and a lot of value out of it. Oh, Vayne. Oh, okay. So crits actually, I think on maybe on the Vayne here, but it still could be Kai'Sa mid. So definitely some options here for
Huh,
Darkside. But yeah, so
huh.
so Braum gonna get picked up here. I think it really, really is a great pick. You get synergy with the Kaisa because she can go ahead and jump on in there with the ultimate, get the shield, get nice positioning off of the Braum Qs. But also it kind of sets up the Skarner as well for being able to pick out maybe some of those stragglers. The problem here is that Divine Ascension Ruby has such a strong, beefy front line in the Leona, in the Shen, in the Galio, that's actually really, really hard for that Skarner to even get anywhere close to pulling a target that he actually wants.
Idea. Are we? We just glossing over the Vayne mid, the Caps rendition, crits, baby
It's there.
Caps. I think this is a really, really great matchup as long as he doesn't get one shot by the Kazakhs, right? There's just that tiny conditional there. The Vayne pick will go really, really well as long as he just doesn't get absolutely destroyed by Harem on this Kazakhs. He was a monster on the Lilia, and it's going to be all on him to try to shut down this killer backline for Darkside because it's going to be really tough to itemize against these ADCs. Vayne, what's a Galio going to build against a Vayne? He's going to have to go like Bramble Vest route, I think, potentially just a really tanky Galio, or try to go for AP to just like one shot some of these carries. But the early lane is going to be tough for Galio. Like, what does he
Mhm.
even do? There's just like no way 1v1. I feel like the Galio takes down the Vayne idea. I don't what do you think? It's not like a
Well,
broken matchup or anything, but Galio I feel like is kind of screwed here.
yeah, no, Galio walks up, tries to get in range for a taunt. Vayne kites him out, tumbles away, and you get three silver bolts, and you're feeling really really sad in that matchup. So Galio definitely gonna have a hard time here. But what I do want to just point out here is there is so much global presence from this
Yep.
Divine Ascension Ruby squad. I mean, you've got Shen United and Galio Ultimate that can come down and
Mhm.
really put a lot of pressure wherever this Kha'Zix is going to show up. So very, very excited to kind of see this. And, I want to see Divine Ascension Ruby
Mhm.
play to this composition strengths. They're not necessarily looking for the 5v5, although this composition is definitely capable of doing so. But I would like to see them maybe try to pick off some of these side lanes.
Yeah.
The Vayne, is possibly a target that can be chased down by the Skarner if, the Skarner is able to maybe get the right angles here, depending on what kind of
Yeah.
rune traces he goes with. Or I'm sorry, I'm talking about the wrong champions on the wrong teams. They're on the same team. Um, but no, the Kazakhs, if he's able to get those flanks appropriately, and especially with the invis, you can actually
Mhm.
set up that Shen really, really, really well, where you don't see the Shen
Yeah.
coming in, and then all of a sudden you've got both Kazakhs and Shen right on top of you, and Galio ulting as well. So I'm very interested to see what that interaction is going to be like, and I would like to see Divine Ascension Ruby utilize that composition to punish things like the Vayne or the Mordekaiser inside lanes.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing that Divine Ascension Ruby are going to be bringing to the table idea. It's not the 5v5. No, no, no. How about a 5v1 or a 5v2? I feel like that's pretty much how Divine Ascension Ruby are going to be starting off these fights because even attacking the sidelines, they wanna get immediately out of the laning phase, I think, as quickly as possible. Coach is gonna have a field day against Derpy Byzantine. It's another tough matchup for Derpy Byzantine for Divine Ascension
Oh
Ruby. The
yeah.
Shed Mordekaiser's brutal, man. It's not really it's manageable because of the Spirit's Refuge. Not really Spirit's Refuge, actually. His ultimate. That's the move I'm thinking of. It's been a while since I've been doing play-by-play ideas, so my ability moves are a little rusty. Regardless, he really is gonna have to try to once again find some magic in the bot lane. I think early on there was a huge
Mhm.
Scion teleport that really swung things the way towards Silly Goose's Tristana, and they're gonna
Yep.
have to try to do the same thing for this Misfortune as well as the Kazakhs, I think.
Yep, you have indexed a whole lot of your damage profile into two attack damage carries here in the Kha'Zix and the Misfortune. So,
Yep.
I mean, Mordekaiser here, he grabs his Rylai's and he builds a Thorn Mail and he gets his Riftmaker and he's probably going to be very unkillable. I would imagine if this game does
Yep.
go on too long. Skarner as well can just build up towards that armor along with the Braum. So, you know, these tankier members from Darkside can itemize, I think, very, very effectively and efficiently
Yep.
against this Divine Ascension Ruby squad.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to how Zongi is going to play on this Skarner. A little bit of a mix up for him. We see him back kind of on a carry jungler. Now it's going to be up for, I think, Zongi to clean things up really nicely. For Darkside last time around, not really on a decision maker, not really on a playmaker. So it leads to some indecisiveness around big objectives like Baron. It leads to Darkside not really being able to contribute much to the early game because Ivern's just trying to catch up and get those big items online. This time around, as soon as that Impale gets online, as soon as Zangi has his tools completed, he is going to be a nuisance to deal with because there's not a lot of mobility from this Misfortune. Divine Ascension Ruby have a tall task to try to defend Silly Goose in this one. It's going to be
Oh
another
yeah.
exciting one though on the Rift, though. I think
Oh,
ideally.
you're absolutely right, Mac. I can't wait to see this Skarner running around and pulling people under towers and making them pay for their crimes in the Skarner race. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to flip it on over into an intermission here as we are getting ready for game number 2 of Divine Ascension Ruby up against Darkside here. Again, I'm the Idea PC. Join my Mac. I'm the bingo winner, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you out there on Summoner's Rift.
Welcome back to the Rift XL and C. I'm Chief Chirpa, once again joined by the one, the only little esports expert, Gungeon. We just had a very eventful first game, and I'm hoping for just as great of a second game.
Yeah, banger game one that came down to a 29-minute base force pretty much from the side of Divine Ascension Ruby. And again, now we're getting into game number 2 and more spicy picks as Crits is going to pull out the Vayne mid. Something not usually seen and not usually seen for a reason because champions like Kha'Zix do exist. And we did see how Harem absolutely smashed in game number 1 with his early game pathing. It felt like he was always around every different play. And so I'm excited to see what he can do with a champion that honestly hyperscales even more when you have an advantage with the Kha'Zix.
Yup, and I, as a part-time Kha'Zix player, would love to see on a full clearing jungler such as Skarner to go for buff, gromp, steal. But because Skarner is starting topside, he will not be able to do that.
Yeah, and again, you're a part-time Kha'Zix player, a part-time Skarner player. This is the perfect game for you. We got all the jungle champs covered here.
Yup, that's when I play jungle though.
Hey man, that role sucks anyway. 80 carry players for life. But
Oh, you know it.
as we do kind of go into the different lanes, we do have the Misfortune plus the Leona lane. And again, I do want to see what Silly Goose and JDK can do in game number 2. They had such a great game number 1. Got a lot of damage by crits. Oh, watching that mid lane is going to be rough for Leicester.
Yeah, that is going to be definitely a bit of a rough lane. Vayne being able to just outscale,
Ooh, level 2?
out-damage. Level 2 did hit from the bot lane of level 2 and the top lane. Engage onto Rice every meal. Ignite. The flash away from Braum is going to net no kills.
And again, I love that Silly Goose and JDK, again, they picked it in game number 1. Pick JDK, the engage support, allow Silly Goose to have a more lane dominant AD than his enemy opponent, and he just kind of dominates. And we saw it in game number 1, and we're kind of seeing it again happen in game number 2 as they get this push in already, and they get to crash this wave up pretty much all the way up to towers, and maybe try to even threaten plates really early on.
Could threaten the place, could go for that cheater recall. You never really know.
Kind of have to be a little bit careful, but Skarner should be spotted here. Again, level 3 Skarner gank, not the strongest, but Rice doesn't have flash either.
Yeah, Rice, JDK does have a flash. Silly Goose going to be hit by that poison. Ooh, the flash away from JDK and the flash engage from Zongi. And Crits just trying to get out of there. Does flash away from Harem.
The effectiveness of those level 3 ganks. Harem's able to burn. Oh, they're going to go for it.
Yep, they're going for it. Stun landing onto Rice every meal. The jump away. Heal coming out from the old scratch. But here comes the Skarner. Here comes the Scorpion. And first one going up to old scratch. The Scorpion Kingdom, baby. Silly Goose going down. Zongi taking that kill. And Harem just a little bit too late.
Yeah, Goose definitely got a little bit silly there as he tried to kind of melee range it. They tried to force it because they knew that Rice didn't have flash after the level 2 force, but Zongi had not left that bot side. They went in a little bit too early on and they get punished for it. And now with this gold advantage that, again, Skarner does fall behind because, again, Kha'Zix does clear the jungle pretty fast. A lot of his ganks can be forced, especially as Zongi kind of has to wait for that level 6 to really get good, effective ganks off. But with that kill, plus the XP that he gets from the kills, he is going to be kind of able to fast-track that level 6. So really detrimental for the side of DAR's bot lane.
Very true. With the jungle changes, you can't just hard farm and expect to be ahead. As the one and only Coach Bubby said, usually junglers are hitting level 6 at around 8 to 9 minutes compared to the 6 or 7 minute mark before this patch.
And again, Coach, we saw it in game number 1. We talked about it as well, that Coach got such a lane advantage on the side of Derpy, but wasn't... It felt like his team... Ooh, they're going to go for it.
Yeah, that is a beautiful
mid-lane
condemn.
matchup. Yep, that's it. Anytime Leicester tries to force that play, if he doesn't immediately flash taunt crits, he's just gonna get condemned away, and that's kind of why you pick this matchup. This is a lane that allows crits to kind of scale into that mid game, get those 2 items, and try his best to not get assassinated by Kha'Zix. We're gonna play a game this in game number 2. How many times does crits get assassinated by Harem? I'm gonna go with 1. I think crits played a really good game number 1, just some positioning mistakes, especially really good play by JDK that kind of led to his engages, or to him dying. But I expect crits to kind of be that main focal point that Darkside play around in game number 2.
Yeah, Drake being started and taken by Darkside, only going to be a Cloud Drake, not the most impactful, probably one of the least impactful Drakes of the game, unless you have big ultimates like Derpy and Lester Fiend's ultimate.
Yeah, you have a lot of big ultimates. Skarner is going to like just having the early Cloud Drake as well. This is a lot of damage, and Coach should have ulti soon, especially with this minion wave dying.
Yeah, minion wave dying, should get to level 6, does not get it quite in time. If only he focused the minion wave a little bit more. It does have a slight CS lead. Still, both top laners sitting on both of their wards, having vision swords of fat old zeros.
Yep, neither top laner tried to drop any wards at all. But it looks like Harem is going to be in that top lane, just trying to feel out if Zongi was going to go for that early top lane gank onto Byzantine. Not much happening. And again, we're going to kind of go into a lull state for this game. Both of these junglers looking for that evolve plus that Zongi on that Skarner level 6. Not too much damage coming out from either of the solo lanes either. So we're just going to go into a little bit of a lull state for both of these team comps. In terms of the game scale, like, what do you look for, Chief? Like, which team comp do you favor as this game kind of goes along?
Well, you see, from my opinion of a of a silver 80 carry main. I really like this composition from Divine Ascension Ruby. It can turn 3v3s into 3v5s easily. I love the Kha'Zix pick. I think into 280 carries. It's just great ability to assassinate.
He's going for it.
Oh, the beautiful taunt. There's the assassination. There's your one.
Yeah, Crits had zero ability to outplay right there. And that's kind of what you have to do when you play against a player as good as Crits. You gotta have to give him almost no room to ever even try to outplay that. Immediately flashes on, kills Crits, and that's the fear that I have as this game kind of progresses. This dive comp that we have for Harem is absolutely massive. Harem jumps in, he gets a Galio and a Shen ultimate on top of him. Can you deal with that? And that's going to be the question that Darkside has to... Oh, he's going to...
Beautiful flash engage from Zongi. The blocked Justice Punch and taking so many tower shots in the last auto attack from Crits, getting that kill.
Huh?
But here comes Harem. Not sure if this is really what you want me doing as a Kha'Zix.
Yeah, that was a little bit forced by Harem there. There was a lot of minions. Oh, the Kaisa?
I don't think anything's going to come out of it. Could use... The Void Seeker does hit. Could use Killer Instinct to assassinate the Kha'Zix, but more likely a level 6 Kha'Zix will just assassinate you.
Yeah, Old Scratch tried to go and see if he could jump in with the Kaisa ultimate, but wasn't able to get much done. There's going to be a massive wave being pushed into that bot lane. Outer tower, again, Kaisa shouldn't miss too much. Will miss probably about 4 to 5 minions, so it is going to be a little bit lost from the side of Darkside. And again, in terms of team comp, you gave your answer, and in terms of my positioning, I agree. I think that the Divine Ascension Ruby comp, I like it a lot. I think that the Kha'Zix is going to get so much work done, and because of Kha'Zix's ultimate kind of... So, in terms of the comp that Darkside built, I think that they did have good... they have a lot of abilities to kind of try to disrupt this dive. They have coaches, Mordekaiser ultimate, they have Zongi that can kind of try to pick apart anybody who tries to drive onto the double 80 carries, and they do have Braum as well to kind of peel off for both of these double 80 carries. My big problem, though, is if Divine Ascension Ruby don't let these fights turn into these 5v5 ball comps in the skirmishes that we will see around Rift Herald, we'll see around these early dragon fights, Divine Ascension Ruby's comp is king. Kha'Zix has so much ability to just jump in recklessly because he has so much global pressure, plus JDK's, we saw what he did in game number 1. This guy will pull the trigger instantly. If you are out of position, JDK will jump on you and you will die to Kha'Zix in half a second. So I think that Divine Ascension Ruby, with what they've shown in game number 1, with their decisiveness, what they've shown in their skirmishing, I like their comp a lot better for just how they've been playing in this early game, plus in game number 1.
Very true. So I guess the challenger player and the silver player agree here. Very rare occasion. A little bit of trade up top side. Coach given the greater portion of it. Byzantine does have an ultimate to work with here. The condemn to cancel Lester Fiend's taunt. Very good plays. It is going to be on cooldown. Drake coming up in 10. This is, I think, going to be where we start to see the game turn in favor of Darkside, or we see Divine Ascension Ruby start to make a comeback.
And if... Oh. Not much is going to get here. And we're just going to go back. Yep. That's... Oh!
That was almost a great solar flare.
Yeah, close by JDK, but it looks like Divine Ascension Ruby are going to just try to get this Ocean Dragon, kind of split the first 2 dragons 1-1, while Darkside do end up getting that Rift Herald, and they might just try to place it top and give Coach all of that gold. And so they are going to trade it. So you're going to see the trade, top lane Outer Tower plus Rift Herald gold for that Ocean Dragon. And so both teams kind of deciding, we're gonna just try to play it. We're just gonna try to not interact, especially in this early game. We think that we have the mid-game team fighting, so both teams kind of just opt to be ships in the night and pass each other by.
Yep, very passive game so far. Nothing like the end of last game, but Harem looking for something on Crits. Is going to pop the ultimate. Justice Punch coming in, but Crits, she did not even pop the ulti there. She did not need to. Zongi gets the Impale and the ulti coming out from the Shen, and the TP coming in from the TP coming in from the Mordekaiser. Byzantine maybe getting caught out here. No stun landed, but Lester Fiend cancels the Justice Punch and the ultimate coming out to Lester Fiend. The flash in from Coach. Coach having those extra stats, having that extra health. Byzantine might be able to make something work here, but that's a lot of damage. But JDK coming up here with the beautiful play by Harem, getting that kill at Stongy and Silly Goose. It was a great rotation by Divine Ascension Ruby.
And again, it feels like that this team kind of just plays together so quickly. Whenever skirmishes start happening, you see JDK almost immediately move, and that was kind of the big turning point for that play, because it felt like it was just going to be 1-for-1, not much happening, but Harem does end up getting the kill onto Zongi as well. And again, in terms of kill allocation, you have to give it to the side of Divine Ascension Ruby. Getting Harem those 2 kills, now he's able to pick up the Prowler's Claw as well. This Kha'Zix is going to be an absolute menace in these side lanes. This is going to be very scary, and you saw that kind of come into effect. Harem was able to get the Shen ulti on top of him, plus the Galio ulti right after Galio got stopped by the or stopped getting ulted by the Skarner. They now do go into that 1-3-1. Oh, he's going for the engage.
Flash engage in the solar flare. Going to be Grits taking out really low with the Kindam. Just barely gonna get him out on 1 HP.
Silly Goose didn't end up calling the Misfortune ultimate there, and Crits does end up lives to tell another tale. Oh,
Yeah.
close.
So close. That just made me just cringe a little bit on how close that was. I also am not too sure about the Prowler's Claw pickup by Kha'Zix. Normally when I play him, I would go the invisibility item.
Duskblade. No,
Yeah, Duskblade.
We're gonna see a top lane.
Yep. Harem and Coach. Coach now wants to take
Oh
Harem
my
into the
God.
death realm, but focusing on Harem is going to be a lot of damage with Coach and Byzantine. This could be very easy 2v1, and then this Impale from Zongi just to finish it off. Harem forced to flash away, flash in from Rice every meal. Not really sure what that one was all about.
They tried to make the play up top, but again, Coach was never isolated because he was being surrounded by his minion wave, so not too much damage coming out. And again, Derpy doesn't deal damage at all, really. So that was all Harem's damage, but it was cut so deeply by no isolation on Coach. And Coach just pretty much just says top die, and they are able to turn it around. And this might be a play on mid as well.
Yep, ulti available for Kai'Sa. He does use the killer instinct, but the counter engage from Lesterfiend and JDK. But here comes Chris, forces the flash, just barely Lesterfiend getting out of there. TP coming in from the Shen. Chris being re-engaged upon taking a lot of damage, being the front line, not where you want to be. If you're Chris, Lesterfiend grabbing the finishing kill. Solar Flare, beautiful onto the Braum, but able to get right out of there. And MF ulti gonna fall short.
And this feels like skirmishes after skirmish after skirmishes. Again, both of these teams are looking for these side lanes fights, but we see the power of these globals. It feels like anytime you try to get this uneven fight, you have either Lester or Derpy just kind of jump in, and they're going to play mid play.
Yep, Silly Goose getting ulted by Coach. Coach looking for something. Silly Goose does not have any flash or heal to work with. And with the back around the wall, just barely getting out of there, but not going to live. The TP ulti coming in from Lesterfiend. So much damage going down to Coach, but Coach does have a lot of healing with this Rift Maker. May be able to just get right out of there with the support of Rice Heavy Meal and the old Scratch. The re-engage the E from Coach. It's going to leave everyone down really low. Kha'Zix trying to steal away this jungle, just gets impaled. No butt twist, but that is going to be an impale, or a E from Vayne leading into a kill.
I love that call out. No butt twist.
It's the only Skarner mechanic you can do.
No, I know. As a Skarner player, I know exactly what you're talking about, but I love if you've never played Skarner in your life, you're just like, butt twist? What's he talking about? But again, we saw the globals come into effect, but in that fight that they tried to pick from the side of Divine Ascension Ruby, they just had no damage. They were like, yeah, let's jump, Coach. We got 3-on-1, but they jumped in, and Coach is like, I'm Mordekaiser. You guys don't deal any damage. I'm just going to turn it around. They get chunked out way too much, and they end up losing the Cloud Dragon for absolutely nothing. And now this gold lead is ballooned up to 3.2k. And for the side of Darkside, this is exactly what you want. You're having your top laner scale up into this monster. My big thing is this happened in game number 1. We saw Darkside get their top laner having such a big lead where he's able to side lane without any pretty much answer, but they ended up putting Coach constantly into these team fights. If you are the side of Darkside, keep Coach in the side lanes. He does so much work. The amount of pressure that this guy can draw is massive. Use his pressure point to and then use the rest of your map to kind of affect, because they will have to send multiple members. And in terms of for the side of Divine Ascension Ruby, I don't like what they're doing for the side of Harem. It felt like in that fight, Harem was just kind of in the enemy's jungle stealing camps instead of being with his team, and he's honestly a lot of that damage if Silly Goose is dead early on. So kind of a miscommunication by the side of Divine Ascension Ruby, and it cost them in that mid-game team fight.
For sure, it's just like that Star Wars meme from episode 3, use my knowledge. I beg you, but the engage it from the Leona, the TP coming in from the Mordekaiser with the Shen ulti coming in. The Zanius, the Rice every meal is just sitting there like, what's going on? Zongi looking for an impact here, gets the stun onto MF, but Byzantine in the death realm will not be able to die, and that was a lot of stuff for no kills.
But that's fine, because again, you have the 1-3-1 from the side of Darkside. They are staying true to their comp. They're saying that these guys right now do not have enough damage to kill off most of our carries. And during that entire time, Crits just picks up farm wave after wave after wave. You get your Vayne into a really strong position, and if Vayne can get strong enough, she will get to the point where nobody can deal with her in the side lane. If you can create these two side lane threats with Coach and Crits, then it becomes really hard for Divine Ascension Ruby to ever contest them in the side lane, and at that point, they're forced to try to make a play mid. If you just disengage those fights, then Coach and Chris just get stronger and stronger and stronger, and as the game progresses, you have these massive side lane threats, and there's nothing that Divine Ascension Ruby can do to them.
Agree with that. Kaisa being 2-0. Finally, the Immortal Shield Bow on Vayne, hitting that one item power spike. Luckily, it's not like Yasuo with the 0-10 power spike.
I do have to say, if I can criticize builds just a little bit, I don't like that itemization from the side of Old Scratch. I feel like his team has a lot of damage already. They have the Vayne, they have Coach, so he doesn't need to opt for the Kraken Slayer, in my opinion. I feel like the Gale Force would be a lot better, because there's so much CC that is kind of not even point and click, but skill shot CC that he can use Gale Force to avoid the Leona ulti, the Kha'Zix jump, the Shen taunt. So I feel like Gale Force is just a lot better in this situation, and he doesn't need to opt for the pure damage of Kraken Slayer. But there's going to be a Rift Herald fight.
Yeah, I'm not sure why people just like to fight over and over again, but Rift Herald is one of these things that you can fight over, and casters will not criticize you too much.
No, we love team fighting, but it looks like Divine Ascension... Oh, they might just not get it.
It's no!
Oh, God. You can take the Baron throws out of the team, but it feels like anytime both of these teams even get around this Baron pit, just weird things happen. Neither team is able to pick up that second Rift Herald, and we're just going to go back into the standard 1-3-1 state. There is going to be a Mountain Dragon spawning up in 55 seconds, and in this situation, Divine Ascension Ruby do have the inside track. They have most of that vision control around that objective, so I do want to see how they play it. The big problem is that Coach is such a monster in these side lanes. He can push waves into wave into... Oh my god, they're going for it.
Harem using the Prowess Collar, using the jump, Zongi being taken out really low, and the Galio coming out. No, Harem, what are you doing? Flashing over the wall, may not even be able to get this kill. No! Zongi just barely getting out of there. Is he going to be able to make it? The smite, and the Harem finally grabbing that kill.
Skarner tried to do the race, but was not... Oh my god, Kaisa!
Oh, Kaisa going all in there, going to be shut down by the Galio. Not feeling too good about that one. Chris being taken out about half HP.
And if you wanted side lane strength, then that's kind of not how you want to play that fight out. You already lost your jungler. It is just it's just one Mountain Dragon. You do not have to throw Kaisa as some sort of just dive bomber. Kaisa ult scratches ulties into the middle of that comp. Lester gets the taunt off, and again, now the goal is kind of equalizing. And this is my big problem with Darkside. It feels like they kind of capitulate every time that Divine Ascension Ruby try to force around these objectives. There's like, oh, you guys want a team fight? We'll give you that team fight. Let's call Coach in here. Let's send Old Scratch in. You already lost Zongi. It's okay. Guys, if I can give you any advice from the self-proclaimed, not even I proclaimed it, Chief proclaimed me as a challenger player. What, you're not gonna lose the game over one mountain dragon. If you lose your jungler, just don't fight. It's okay. It's okay to lose objectives sometimes. They
And
don't.
this has been Challenger Knowledge with Gungeon.
Challenger knowledge from Gungeon. But yeah, just weird ideas from the side of Darkside. They opt for the fight, they get countered on, and again, now this gold lead is kind of closing in more and more. And I just get a little bit scared because I feel like Darkside, whoever's on their side, there needs to be always some guy on their team that's like, guys, let's just calm down, reset it. We know what we're strong at. We win these side lanes. Let's go back to what we're good at, and let's just reset the mental. Someone needs to be doing that because it feels like if they try to opt for more and more of these just team fights where they try to jump in, we might see a little bit of a throw.
Yeah, so basically what you're asking for is a shot caller.
Not even a shot caller. That's not what you need. You need a guy that just says, guys, calm down, chill out. That's all you need. Someone that just cools the mental, someone that's just like, guys, it's okay. We had a little bit of a throw, but we know what we're doing. We are the better players. We win the side lanes. Let's just go back to what we're strong at. It can be anybody, but someone does need to be kind of relaxing the nerves because, again, those fights were a little bit troll by the side of Divine Ascension, or Darkside, my bad.
Yeah, interesting build path by this Galio, going for the Zanyas first, and has that Bramble Vest, has the Hextech Alternator, has those armor boots, the plated steel caps, so not going for the Mythic directly.
Yeah, and again, Galio is so... Right now, all Leicester's game plan is to taunt, to ulti whenever Harem jumps in, and that's kind of about it. Galio's so... low econ of a champion that he doesn't really need too much right now to be useful at this point. We do see that Crits is trying to push that side lane, but he's gonna face check Harem and look. Oh
No, Harem. Great ultimate.
no one saw that. This is not being live streamed. Nobody saw that. It's fine. We're good.
Yeah, engage coming in. The taunt onto Coach, but nothing else coming out of it. Coach, a little bit too tanky. Has quite a bit of health with that Demonic Embrace and Riftmaker.
Yeah, Coach should be able to get that top laner tower probably in a couple of minion waves. He is just kind of chipping it down. And again, there's not too many objectives right now to fight for, so we're going to go into a little bit of a lull in terms of game states. In terms of just looking at item builds right now, we do see the two QSSs on the side of Divine Ascension Ruby. Shen had already picked one up, and Misfortune does end up getting one herself. I think it might be a little bit premature. It doesn't feel like Zongi is really getting to that backline to ever ulti the Misfortune. He's probably going to end up using the ulti to either peel Harem off whenever he dives or JDK or something like that. But maybe just getting it early just so that he's safe. But in terms of just builds for the rest of the comp, Coach is right now probably the strongest member on the map, having the Riftmaker plus the Demonic Embrace, so he's really strong. We do see Zongi picking up just the speed. I want to go fast, and Zongi is going fast with Dead Man's Plate plus Turbo Chem Tank. Crits is getting close to that 2-item spike, probably going to opt in for that PD, as it is such a strong attack speed item, does give that double attack speed when it does stack up. So again, items are coming through. Both of these teams are scaling up to that strong point. And so I want to see what happens around this Mountain Dragons, because it feels like neither team wants to give up any objective, no matter how useless it is at that state of the game.
Not only that, they like to fight for no reason. So, I mean, I guess if we're going to be just saying some advice, I would say don't fight for no reason.
Don't fight for no reason, but if there even is a reason to fight, if they're going to beat you up, just don't even fight at all. It's okay. We have late game.
Yeah. Harem trying to get a little damage onto Rice, but able to get right out. Maybe it's just Skarner diff right now. The Skarner just Captain Flowers.
Coach is going to just TP in, so they're just going to call it for this fight again. I don't like this. I feel like Coach could have just tried to save it, because using that TP, now they're just opting in for that 5v5 team fight. It felt like he was still strong in that side lane. It didn't seem...
Yeah,
oh, they're
but
going
the
for
engage
it.
from Zongi onto the Harem. Gonna be huge.
Oh,
The cancel
they're done.
of the MF ulti. That is Coach on a killing spree. Lester Fiend just going to get right out of there, letting JDK die in the death realm. Ooh, sidestepping the Q, but not going to be able to get out of it, as there are 4 members of Darkside waiting there just to finish you off.
And if I'm the side of Darkside, just call the Baron right here. You have 3 dead. The other 2 cannot contest. I really hope they try to at least ping the Baron. Please, guys, it's just Mountain.
We saw what happened last time with Baron.
But you have, again, we saw what happened last time because you didn't have that fast of a Baron team, but you have Vayne, you have Kaisa. It felt like that was a perfect opportunity to kind of blow open the hole in this game, but they don't opt to go for the Baron. They do get the Mountain Dragon. They did have a great team fight. Zongi ended up getting such a quick and snappy engage off, and Harem was not even able to react. Harem probably is going to have to pick up the QSS soon, as he is probably the primary target for the side of Darkside, but at this point, there will be now a 3.4k gold lead established for the side of Darkside as we go into this 27-minute mark in game number 2.
Yep, Darkside being a pretty dominant force. Don't start this Baron, I swear.
Oh, they're starting
They're
it.
starting the Baron! We saw what happened last time. Divine, Ascension, Ruby, don't do this to us again.
Feels like they might not know. If they just do it fast enough, they might be able to kind of just sneak it under their noses, and it doesn't feel like anybody's even walking up to check, but this is going to be really close.
It's going to be
I
close.
guess they just get it. They just get it.
Yep, they
Great
just get
call.
it. No one knows. Great call. I guess I was wrong. There is no danger at all.
Yeah, and again, it looked like Rice was going to go over and walk, and if that had happened, it would have gotten really scary, but they... Oh, nope.
Ooh,
Oh,
beautiful
just
QSS to cancel that impale,
Nope.
but the condemn into the wall is going to end up with the kill. So, I mean, QSS for death.
Yep, QSS for death. They end up taking at least one of the Baron buffs off the side of Derpy. But again, great call from the side of Divine Ascension Ruby. They saw that there was no vision in that top side. It felt like Darkside kind of lacked, as they felt like they didn't need to have... Was that a flash?
I just heard a flash.
Yeah, I heard a flash too.
I
I'm just...
flash. What,
No,
what
Kais-
was that?
I think she was caught out by Harem at that point. She had been
Oh,
walking.
yeah.
And so she just needed a flash. Good flash by the side of Old Scratch, getting a little bit caught out, but don't want to die at all right now because, again, with that Baron buff, it probably doesn't mean too much for the side of Divine Ascension Ruby. This Baron probably just means that they take it off the map and there's no chance of Darkside trying to do it with either, like, Zongi plus crits or Zongi kind of try to sneak it. So just taking it off the map so that there's no fear that Darkside get it at all.
Oh yeah, I completely agree with you. If we look at items right now, the this is why Kha'Zix was not going for the QSS, building that spell shield lethality item and feeling good. Edge of Night.
Yeah, he does pick up the Edge of Night. It can get procced by a lot of abilities, so I'm not the biggest
Solar
fan,
Flare
but
coming
it
in
is
the
that.
TP from Shen. Old Scratch been taking on solo, and now Misfortune is saying, I'm not falling for this same trick again. I'm popping ulti.
And after that flash had been burned, they end up making the play onto Old Scratch, and now they're going to try to use this 34-second window to try to push and grab some of these inner turrets. And again, without Old Scratch, the most damage that you have is crits, and maybe Coach, if he tries, maybe opts in to just defend this inner tower, but let's see what happens. There was a lot used from the side of Divine Ascension Ruby, but they're just going to opt to give this tower away, and good play by the side of Divine Ascension Ruby.
Yep, finding the plays to get these towers, use a Baron buff, which is only going to be up for about another 30 seconds. KDAs, the gold's in kind of where you want it to be. You could have wished MF was a little bit more ahead. Zongi popping the turbo chem tank, looking for something to harm.
Oh my god.
But gets just caught out, gets taunted, and is just gonna die.
Yeah, sometimes that's the fear as a Skarner player. You go so fast that you don't even realize where you're going. Great ulti by JDK. They're going to go for the engage.
Beautiful ultimate, but JDK being taken on solo, pull from the Mordekaiser, but Old Scratch frontlining right now. Chris being taken on solo, popping the Immortal Shield Bow, gets the Condemned into the wall, but now that's a 1-for-2. Coach, beautiful pull into a Q.
Yeah, Coach said, Coach is not letting this game go, and the Baron buff does wear off. Great plays by the side of Divine Ascension Ruby, and again, they tried to make the play, but Zongi was way too fast. Tried to burst off Harem, but Harem was aware of that play. Ended up using the ulti to cancel out any chance of the Scar and try to get the pull off. And again, he tries to force the fight a little bit too far, and honestly, at that point, Dragon wasn't even up, so kind of an overforce.
Yup, Drake only going to be coming up in the next 10 seconds. Baron buff is down, so they were not able to get that mid lane inhib. This could be another 5v5 team fight, like we love to see here in mid league.
Yeah, we'll probably see it again, but the big thing that I want to note that Zongi does have all of his speed plus the flash, so if he can get onto one of the targets from the side of Divine Ascension Ruby, or if Harem doesn't use his ulti fast enough and gets caught out, that could be kind of that go signal for the side of Darkside.
Yep, it is going to turn into a 5v5. Drake taken down to about half HP, just punched to get the Galio
This
right
Misfortune
out there.
ulti.
Ooh, Misfortune ulti is huge! Grabbing a few of them, but the knockup from Braum is also pretty big. Harem in the backline, grabbing the kill, going to Invis, right side reveal, being taken out solo. Double kill going over to Coach being taken out solo, shut down. Vayne does grab one, but that is a 1 for 4, and Zongi popping over the wall, forced to flash defensively, using the turbo chem tank. Wow.
I don't even know how to do analysis for that team fight because it felt like everybody was sitting on top of each other, and I was so sure that Coach was getting a pentakill. But
I was so sure too.
yeah, it felt like Coach was just sitting with his passive on, but they weren't able to kind of pick off the rest of the targets. Again, there was an ulti from Zongi, but honestly, at that point, he did get Silly Goose, but there wasn't enough damage from the side of Divine Ascension, or Darkside, my bad. And Silly Goose was able to escape that situation with the QSS being popped, and I can't even really put analysis in that team fight because I couldn't really tell what was really going on. It felt like 5 people sat on top of each other, and I guess Divine Ascension Ruby just sat a little bit better.
Yep, I heard that's how Doublelift described all of his team fights.
Hey man, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? I can't even see what's going on.
Baron is going to be up in about 15 seconds. Ooh, I do not hope that Darkside tries to force this. Mordekaiser is in the bot lane, has TP available. I got a really weird cramp in my foot, and that started to hurt bad.
And that, again, this is my big problem with the side of Darkside. It feels like they always capitulate and try to opt for these 5v5v5 team fights. You have such a strong side laner and Coach. He is beating up people. You have crits that can lane in the side lane. And anytime Kha'Zix disappears to go contest one of these people, you can push up this Zongi plus Kaisa plus Braum triple man that sits in the mid lane, but it feels like they never use it. They keep opting for these 5v5s where Harem, Lester, and Derpy are able to get such a great team fight combo. And again, misusing team comps is just feels like the big problem for the side of Darkside.
Yep, I can vibe with what you're saying. Next Drake gonna be up about 3 minutes, dog.
I don't know what to do with that, but I'm gonna just gonna throw it up there. We are gonna see a lot of positioning from the side of Divine Ascension Ruby. They have a good amount of vision control here, and if we pan over to the side of Divine Ascension Ruby's vision, it doesn't look like Darkside has any vision of the pit at all.
Ooh, that's with the engage onto Coach being taunted.
Kaisa!
Not hitting anyone. Kaisa going in, but the Kyo's entrance going to grab one. Silly Goose ground the kill into Skarner, and now Coach being caught in the...
Kaisa!
Ooh, Kaisa getting taken out by Harem. The taunt landing onto right side of Mealball. Crits just kiting everyone out right now. Misfortune ulti is canceled. Coach being taken out solo. Silly Goose grabbing the unstoppable kill. Now the engage from Leona is grabbing 2. Justice punch is huge. Lester feed with the kill on right side. Meal and Chris being the only one left. But the kiting is huge. The Justice punch is well. Lester Fiend, no! No, the trade of kills. Double kill over to Lester Fiend.
And he tried his best double of impression, but there was nothing that could have happened. Zongi tried to get an engage off, but it was for naught because Harem was able to get into the backline. Scratch had to use his pretty much all of his abilities to just try to escape the Leona combo,
No
but
way
he
they're
ended up
looking
getting.
to end here.
That's it. That's the end of the game.
That's it.
That's
no
it.
way.
Divine Ascension Ruby again outplay in terms of just overall team fighting, and at 36 minutes, we will see Divine Ascension Ruby take the 2-0 over Darkside. What a comeback for this team. It felt like they were kind of slipping in the standings. They needed this 2-0 to kind of equalize as heading into the playoff standing kind of battle for that 6th, 5th seed, and what great play from the side of Divine Ascension Ruby. Their jungler stepping up at key times. It felt like Derpy had great side lane plays. And my big match MVP has to go to JDK. Time after time after time, this guy is landing great engages. He's landing great CC for his team. And what a game by Divine Ascension Ruby.
Oh, I completely agree with you. I feel like JDK, huge MVP, was always there when he needed to be there, getting out these huge engages. Just absolutely amazing from a support player. Well,
Yeah.
we are going to quickly hop over to the analyst desk, I do believe, real quickly while we get set up for this interview. Don't go away.